Hey Ray, how you doing tonight? Hey, I'm David Burke, the Fig Hunter, Burke Family Farms, and I'm doing a real quick and prompt video on how to do a rind graft, or a modified rind graft. So, you know, we're going to use this for the rootstock and this for the cutting that we're going to graft. And do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi. So she wants to say hi. She's very, so be careful, sharp knives. Make sure you sanitize your knives. So I use a Listerine disinfectant. Pretty good that. We have, a lot of people use rubber bands or zip ties. I use electrical tape. I love it. And, oh, she wants to get over here. And of course, parafilm. None of these cuts are square. For this application, I do want to start out with a square cut. How you tell which way is up on a cutting is how I tell my kids. Your nose is on top of your mouth. So there's the big spot, there's a little spot. There's your nose, that's your bud, there's where the leaf, the fig was. Square this up. Again, hand placement, fingers, all that good stuff. And then, it might be a little windy right now. So a cleft, you would be going in the middle here. Bubs, sit back down. We're playing with knives here. We're working. You gotta sit right there. So you won't just try to cut. Again, keep your hand out and rock it. The whole key is rocking, control of it. For this, Bubs, sit right there please, is since we're going on the outside here, again, we're rocking this down. That's pretty far down. So now you come, that's what this is, apart, you use that, get in there, separating it. Even the dogs want to come over and see what's going on here. It's a windy day we're at, I hope everybody can hear this. So, just peeling that back. So, now, this is what I use, it's a hook knife for doing my other grafting stuff, or air layering. Peel this back just a little bit more. Mind you, this is going to be on a rootstock. If it has roots, I keep it in a plastic bag so I can work at the kitchen table. And then I plant it afterwards. So, come in here. Of course, again, I'm doing this. I wouldn't do this. Same rocking. Hey, don't try to take the whole thing off at once. There you go. You might take a little bit more off there, or taper that. Instead of having it square, you might want to taper it a little bit. Watch your fingers, babe. Let's get back. There we go. So there we go. So then the next thing we talk about parafilm. You want to make sure your cutting here that you're going to use has pretty wrapped up. I know this has green growth. Most of it will probably die right there. It might last, but I might be able to save that. So you can start at the tip, start working your way down. Do not overlap the buds more than once. See how it's barely, you know. There we go. Coming down. The bub says don't overlap it more than once. Okay, so I like to cheat sometimes. Deciding the direction that I want my graft. I don't want it facing this way because it'd go back into the tree. So I probably want it going this way so it branches out. So then I know. You can sit here and use your knife to do that. Sometimes I'll grab my nice cutters and I'll cheat and I'll get started. So I'm aiming for that and there we go. And you say, well, what is that leg for? That little 90-degree cut. When you slip it down, it rests right there. It helps secure everything. So, because I did such a big, long, deep, it allows you, in the past I've had to do real small stuff up here. It doesn't give you as much contact. Okay. So you say, well, you just tape it now? You see how that's not touching exactly? I want that to be as close as possible, the bark is where it was. So we're gonna try to get down to where we were. Again, hand placement. Mind you, this is a fast, impromptu video because our friend down in Stockton wanted a lesson real quick, and I said, yeah, no problem. So, you want to make sure that's pretty square right there. Why you want that square is because where it sits, you don't want it to have bad contact. You don't want it out like that, where there's a gap in there. You want it to set just as flush as possible. You can tape it back if it isn't completely perfect. Why I say this, because I'm going to trim this up just a little bit more here. So, see? So I was talking about set angle right there. When you push down on it here, that comes back. So what is that, juice? Yep. I got to do a little bit more of a sharper angle here. Now, if you're square with your rootstock, you don't have to do that. You're square cutting. So this is angled right there. Again, this is our. Now, I'm doing it on top of our fire pit lid. You would do this in a cleaner environment. And what I usually do is any of my stuff that I'm gonna make contact with, I have a wet napkin, and I will keep that around it to keep it moist. So now we see our angle right there, how it meets. Is a lot better. Well, it might not be perfect on both sides. It looks a little bit cleaner. And see how that's gonna grow out. Later on you can kind of train it, but this is gonna come out from the top pretty good. Next step, parafilm. Film that, joint, making sure that keeps contact. Ooh, fat fingers. Now, there's two rules. This is on your rootstock, will continue to bleed, breathe. So it hasn't hardened off usually at this point in time. So you might want to keep it a little bit, but you might like that. See, right where the right where your joint's at. I've done both. I've taped it right there on top, and it's done all right. And then sometimes it hasn't. Okay, so there you are. Next phase, my friend, the electric tape. These rubber bands, lots of stuff. I'm gonna put these knives away real quick, just because one less thing to worry about. What I love about it stretches. We're using parafilm cut stretches. Now this is your rubber band. It will keep this just tight as possible. Great thing about electrical tape, it's meant to do this. If you just wrap it on, it's not going to be waterproof. When you stretch it, it'll stretch back on itself. And that's when you get the proper abilities. That's when it works. You ask me how I know. And when you're working in water. When you're working in water and you reach down and you go, oh, I thought that had electrical tape on it. Zap. So you're stretching it tight. And this is the part I said you can pull it back a little bit. Now that you come across there, come right there. See, now I'll come up high. See, I'll come a little higher on this side right here. See, I don't need to get right there, but we got it. Okay. Pull it back. See, it kind of gives that a little bit tug. It'll heal, and when this releases it, it'll flop back over there. But right now, it's keeping firm pressure. So, realizing that I'm might lose this much, I really care more about that down there. I'm going to try to get that to work. Let's say you should see something within a month. Thank you very much for joining us in an impromptu video. I'm David Burke, and well, it's just me and the beautiful boss lady recording this. It looks like my other beautiful assistant decided to take off and go find something funner to do. Well, thank you again. Please, if you like what we're doing, subscribe to our channel. share it with everybody so they know you're just as weird as the rest of us. Don't lie. I know you're a closet figure. Like, subscribe, comment. Hey, what about this? Or why'd you do this? Or does this work? Because we tried it this way and it worked better. I love those. I am by no means got it down 100%. I'm just doing what works for me, and I'm still learning. That's what I love, to learn. So if you've got a better way, please tell us, because I might just do an interview on your way. Other than that, when you find a fig, you make a friend. We all need friends. I don't care, we all need friends. You plant that fig, you make a friend for life. Now this is kind of sobby, but this really is the about building relationships. And that's what we're out here doing, is building friendships, building connections with our community and our friends. We're trying to make friends for life. Thank you very much for joining us.